Did you know that one of the largest explosions ever recorded on Earth happened so suddenly and powerfully that to this day, scientists can't fully explain what occurred? The Tunguska event, a catastrophe that devastated an entire region in Siberia, challenged all laws of nature and raised questions that still echo in the heart of humanity. And the most incredible part? God has something profound to teach each one of us through this event. Imagine for a moment an explosion of such gigantic proportions that, had it occurred in an urban center, it could have destroyed millions of lives. What does it teach us about the power of God and the fragility of human life? And how does this relate to your spiritual journey? What should you do to be prepared for the unpredictable that may come at any moment? Stay until the end of this video, because what you will discover here is not just about science or cosmic events. It's a divine revelation about how you can spiritually protect yourself from life's most unexpected challenges. If you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Don't let the powerful knowledge we have here escape your life. Let's explore the deepest spiritual lessons this historical event has for you. Topic 1. What was the Tunguska event? In a world full of mysteries and wonders, there are moments when we are confronted with events so grand and mysterious that they make us reflect on the role of God in the cosmos. The Tunguska event, which occurred on June 30th, 1908, is one of those events that seem challenging to comprehend. In the vastness of Siberia, a massive explosion devastated a huge area, a force of destruction so great that it could only be compared to the power of God Himself. However, this event left no visible marks on the ground, which raises deep questions about what happened and how we can interpret such a manifestation in the context of our faith. Sometimes God allows us to see the vastness of the universe, not to frighten us, but to remind us of our smallness and His greatness. As written in Psalm 19:1, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims His handiwork." When we look at the sky, we can see the majesty of God in all His creation, and the Tunguska event is a reminder of how vast the universe is and how we are connected to it. Often, we wonder why God allows such powerful things to happen, but if we reflect, we will realize that He uses these moments to awaken us to a reality greater than our understanding. It is a call to seek His wisdom and His peace, especially when we face the unforeseen and the inexplicable. The Tunguska event was undoubtedly an event of supernatural force, but it was also a test of faith. When the residents of the area felt the impact of the explosion and saw the devastating effects around them, many wondered what had happened. For them, and for many around the world, it seemed like a sign, something that would change our perception of our security in the world. However, even in the face of mystery and destruction, God remains our firm rock. The Bible teaches us in Hebrews 13:8 that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Even though the world around us may be shaken by forces we do not understand, He remains unchanging, and we must trust in Him. As Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding." If there is anything that the Tunguska event teaches us, it is that life is full of unexpected moments. It may be that today we live a peaceful life, but tomorrow a challenge may arise without warning. This is an aspect that invites us to keep our faith in God, knowing that, even in moments of uncertainty, He is in control of everything. Similarly, as the people of Israel in the desert times, who faced trials without understanding the divine plan, we too, in times of difficulty, are called to trust in God's providence. Our walk of faith is not based on understanding everything, but on the trust that, as in Isaiah 55:8, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." Therefore, the event teaches us to trust, to wait, and to live by faith. God, in His infinite wisdom, allows us to be touched by grand and unsettling events, but He does not leave us alone. In moments of uncertainty, we can find peace, as Philippians 4:7 assures us, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." The Tunguska event calls us to seek a greater understanding of our spiritual life, It reminds us that we cannot control everything, but we can trust God to guide us through moments of uncertainty. Like a lighthouse in a dark night, our faith becomes the light that guides us, leading us to greater trust in the Lord, even when the circumstances around us seem to challenge us. The event, therefore, is an opportunity to deepen our journey with God, reflecting on the fragility of life and the vastness of His power. Akis Topic 2. Characteristics of the explosion. When we think of the greatness of an event like the Tunguska one of the first questions that arises is the nature of the explosion. How could such a powerful force be generated so suddenly and without warning? My dear ones, the answer lies in the majesty of God, who has absolute control over all the forces of the universe. In His creation, the Lord establishes the laws of physics that govern everything around us, from the smallest atom to the most immense explosion in space. The Tunguska event was a manifestation of these forces that, in His sovereignty, were released in a way that few could understand. The event was an airburst explosion, with no direct impact on the ground, and this teaches us about how God, in His greatness, can operate in an invisible manner, but with immeasurable impact. The Tunguska explosion released an amount of energy equivalent to approximately 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, a power that is difficult to imagine. If we compare, this power would be equivalent to thousands of atomic bombs, such as the ones that devastated Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but with a crucial difference. There was no physical impact on the ground. Instead, the explosion occurred at an altitude of about 5 to 10 kilometers above the Earth, causing a shock wave that spread over 1,000 kilometers. And here comes an important spiritual lesson. Just as this enormous force was released in a way that we cannot always see or understand, God also works invisibly in our lives. He acts in our history in ways that we often cannot see immediately, but whose effects can be profoundly transformative. This type of explosion, which is classified as an airburst explosion, released so much energy that it caused a strange phenomenon. Trees were felled in a radial pattern, as if a huge hand had extended its fingers and destroyed everything in its reach. This destruction was accompanied by a bright glow in the sky, visible for hundreds of kilometers. For days, the glow in the sky was so strong that people thought it was the sign of something divine. And, my brothers, in a way, this is a reminder of how God's presence can be felt powerfully, but we often fail to fully comprehend. The glow in the sky was like a beacon of warning, something that drew attention to something we could not control. And here, once again, we are reminded that God's presence often draws our attention in a way that transcends what we can see. In Isaiah 55:8, we are reminded that, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." God is capable of doing things beyond our understanding. Just as the Tunguska event generated an explosion of force that did not cause a direct impact on the ground, but was felt all around the world, He often works in our lives in a silent manner, but with a profound impact. God's power, though invisible, reverberates in our souls and calls us to deep reflection. Just as the shock wave of the Tunguska event traveled over great distances, God's love is capable of crossing all boundaries and reaching human hearts, calling us to an internal transformation that cannot be measured by human logic. Thus, the Tunguska event becomes a spiritual metaphor for the powerful effects God can produce in our lives, even when we do not see the invisible forces He is using to shape our destiny. When the Lord allows something like this to happen, it is not to frighten us, but to remind us of the magnitude of His power and the need to trust in Him, even when events around us seem chaotic. The Bible teaches us that even in the storms of life, God is present. In Mark 4:39, Jesus calms the storm with a word, demonstrating that He has power over all the forces of nature. The Tunguska event, just like the storms we face, calls us to trust in His sovereignty and to remember that, even in the midst of chaos, He is in control. Topic 3. Causes and hypotheses. When the Tunguska event occurred, many tried to understand its cause, but the mystery behind what really happened persists to this day. At that moment, in 1908, no one could have imagined that something so unusual and incomprehensible was about to happen. The first hypothesis that arose, as expected, was the possibility of a great volcanic explosion. However, as scientists investigated, they realized that there was no evidence of volcanic activity in the region. Instead, others began to speculate that a meteor or comet could be the source of this catastrophic destruction. And here, my friends, we see what the Bible teaches us about the mysteries of life. In Deuteronomy 29:29, it is written, "The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the revealed things belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law." The mystery of Tunguska is a reminder that there are things beyond our comprehension, but that one day God will reveal the truth. For many years, the most accepted hypothesis was that the event was caused by a large meteor that entered Earth's atmosphere but exploded at a considerable altitude. This would explain the massive shock wave that destroyed the vegetation without leaving a direct impact on the ground. However, over time, new possibilities began to arise, and some theories suggested that the object that caused the explosion could have been a comet, not a meteor. The crucial difference here is that while a meteor is made of rock and metal, a comet is composed mainly of ice and dust. The comet theory suggests that the ice would have disintegrated completely before reaching the ground, releasing its energy in the atmosphere. And while this intrigued scientists, many are still searching for a more precise explanation, remembering that, as it says in Proverbs 25:2, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings." In the end, the scientific community has not reached a definitive conclusion about the cause of the Tunguska event, but it does not diminish the impact that this mysterious event had on humanity. And here, we can reflect on how sometimes we seek answers for things we cannot explain. Just like Job, who faced suffering and did not understand the reasons behind his trials, we may face mysteries in life that seem to have no explanation. However, God is always present in these situations, teaching us the importance of faith. Topic 4. The scientific study of the event. The study of the Tunguska event has been a significant challenge for scientists and researchers over the years. Despite the numerous theories proposed, no one has been able to provide a conclusive explanation for what exactly happened that day in 1908. The event became a subject of interest for scientists from various fields: astronomy, physics, geology, and even theology. This mystery reminds us of how limited our understanding can be and how God's infinite wisdom surpasses our own. One of the difficulties in studying the Tunguska event is the lack of direct evidence. The explosion took place in a remote region of Siberia, and at the time, the area was sparsely populated. This meant that no one was able to directly observe the event and collect data immediately after it occurred. It was only years later that researchers began to examine the area and its surrounding forests, where they found significant evidence of destruction, including trees knocked down in a radial pattern. This made it clear that the explosion had an enormous force, but did not leave a direct crater, which was puzzling for scientists. Furthermore, the scientific studies have focused on trying to understand the atmospheric effects of the explosion. It is believed that the shock wave traveled for hundreds of miles, and there were reports of atmospheric changes, such as a reddish tint to the sky, visible in parts of Europe and North America. Scientists have also analyzed the chemical composition of the soil and air in the region and have found traces of unusual elements that suggest the presence of a cosmic object. Despite the efforts, a definitive answer has not yet been found. This process of scientific inquiry, while valuable, also reflects the limitations of human knowledge. As Isaiah 40:28 reminds us, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom." Even with all the advancements in science, we will never fully understand everything, and there will always be mysteries that only God can reveal. This should inspire us to trust in His wisdom and acknowledge that while we seek understanding, there are things that are beyond our comprehension. The Tunguska event also serves as a reminder of the vastness of the universe and how little we know about it. While scientists continue to study and gather evidence, we are still left with unanswered questions. This should lead us to humbly accept that there are things in life that will remain mysteries, and sometimes it is okay not to have all the answers. As stated in 1 Corinthians 13:12, "For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully even as I am fully known." The topic 5. Lessons learned from the Tunguska event. The Tunguska event, as a mysterious and powerful natural occurrence, has taught us many valuable lessons, both in terms of scientific discovery and spiritual reflection. One of the most important lessons it teaches us is the fragility of life and the unpredictability of the world we live in. In an instant, the event changed the landscape of Siberia, and it could have easily caused far greater destruction if it had occurred over a more populated area. This reminds us of how fragile our existence is and how we must remain humble before the power of nature and the sovereignty of God. In the Bible, we are taught that life is uncertain and that we cannot control the future. James 4:13-14 says, "Now listen, you who say, 'Today or tomorrow we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make money.' Why, you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes." The Tunguska event serves as a reminder of how fleeting life can be and how we should cherish each moment and live it with purpose and gratitude. Another lesson from the Tunguska event is the importance of being prepared for the unexpected. Although the event was a rare and unusual occurrence, it reminds us that unexpected events can happen at any time, and we must be spiritually prepared to face them. Just as Jesus taught in Matthew 25:1-13 through the parable of the 10 virgins, we must always be ready for the unforeseen. The 5 wise virgins were prepared, and when the bridegroom came, they were able to enter the banquet. This is a powerful metaphor for our spiritual lives. We must live each day with readiness, aware that the world is unpredictable, and rely on our faith to carry us through difficult times. Finally, the Tunguska event teaches us about the importance of faith and trust in God. While science has tried to explain what happened, there are still many unanswered questions. This reminds us that, in the face of uncertainty and confusion, we must place our trust in God. As Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Even when we face events that seem beyond our control or understanding, we are called to trust that God is guiding us, and his plan is greater than any mystery or challenge we encounter. Aking topic 6. The impact on modern science and theology. The Tunguska event not only impacted scientific research, but also provoked theological reflection. In the aftermath of the explosion, people were left in awe and wonder at the scale of the event, and many began to ask questions about the role of God in such a phenomenon. Some saw the event as a sign of divine power, while others questioned the reasons behind it. For theologians, the Tunguska event posed the challenge of reconciling natural disasters with the concept of a benevolent and omnipotent God. One of the important discussions that emerged from the Tunguska event was the relationship between science and faith. While many scientific theories have been proposed to explain the event, it has also raised deeper questions about the nature of the universe and our place in it. Does the existence of such a powerful event point to a greater purpose? Is it a sign of God's judgment? Or is it a reminder of his sovereignty over creation? These are questions that both scientists and theologians have grappled with. For many people of faith, the Tunguska event served as a reminder of God's majesty and power. In Psalm 24:1 it is written, "The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it, the world, and all who live in it." The event revealed how small and insignificant humanity is in comparison to the vastness of God's creation. While we may not understand why such an event occurred, it points to the truth that God is in control of all things, and his will is beyond our full understanding. In the realm of science, the Tunguska event has led to advances in the study of asteroid impacts, planetary defense, and the understanding of cosmic forces. Scientists have since studied other potential threats from space and have developed strategies to mitigate the risks of similar events in the future. In this way, the Tunguska event has had a profound influence on modern science, sparking innovations and deeper exploration of the universe. For theology, the event serves as a reminder of God's presence in the natural world and challenges us to reflect on how we interpret the events of life. Sometimes we may be tempted to view disasters or strange occurrences as mere coincidences or random events. However, the Bible teaches us that God is always present and at work in the world, even when we do not fully understand the reasons behind what happens. Romans 8:28 encourages us with these words. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Now that you know the powerful lessons the Tunguska event has to teach us, the big question is, how are you preparing for the unexpected in your life? What does this event reveal about the fragility of our existence and God's sovereignty over everything? I want to know your thoughts. Leave your comment below and share your experience with this video. Your interaction could be the beginning of a great change. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Turn on notifications too. Ensure you won't miss out on future transformative content that will deeply impact your spiritual life. Don't miss the chance to continue this journey with us. Until next time, and may God bless your walk. With care, Noah.